Hello everyone, I am the Basement Dweeb, you can call me Nova, and I just got home from watching Demon Slayer the movie Mugen Train. And I'm not okay! Now, before we really get into the video, obviously, this is gonna have some big, huge, giant spoilers for Mugen Train, so if you haven't seen Mugen Train, go watch Mugen Train, then come back and watch the video. I promise, it's great, it's a good movie, definitely worth your time, it's a little over 2 hours, go watch it, then come back and watch the video. But anyway, let's talk about Mugen Train. First of all, I'm gonna say right now, this is gonna go kind of like in the, frame of where I'm gonna go over some of the things I liked and then go into like the technical stuff a bit later. But I just want to talk right now about that last act of the film, because let me tell you, after he beheaded Lower first, I thought the movie was gonna end. I thought maybe they'd have like, you know, some more problems with the train, and then maybe, you know, it would end. I was not expecting Upper Third to show up out of nowhere and fight Rengoku. I was not expecting that. It hit me like a feel struck to the heart. I was not expecting that. And the fights on that, also, just side note, the fights on that were fucking epic. I don't even care if I'm swearing. The fights in this movie, S tier, like, the fights in this were freaking fantastic. I love the fights in Demon Slayer in general are just good, but the fights in this were absolutely incredible. I love the fights in this so much. Oh my gosh. But yeah, for anyone who's seen it, you know why I'm not okay. The ending. That ending. Oh no. Oh, Rengoku, why? I wasn't expecting that either, because this show has one season, and this is its first movie. I was not expecting them to kill a Hashira this early. I was not expecting it. I don't know how to feel. I was like a mess on the entire way home, and I had to slam on my brakes a few times. It was not great, but calm down. There were multiple people crying in the theater. I didn't cry because I don't cry at movies, but my heart, it ripped my heart out and trampled all over it, like, but in, like, a good way, you know, because I was not expecting that, you know, because, like, I didn't think that there would be another fight, you know. I'm like, oh, you know, they'll behead the Lower first, Kizuki, and then, you know, they'll probably have a couple of issues because the train is going to stop very quickly. So they're probably going to have some problems with that. And then, you know, they'll deal with it and everything will be great, you know? I figured Tanjiro getting stabbed was going to be, like, you know, the highest peak of, like, emotional distress, you know? I thought that would be, like, the high point of emotional distress, you know? Because Tanjiro got fucking stabbed. So I'm like, oh no, my boy! And you know, I was just like, oh, whatever, you know? It'll do that, you know? And then that'll be it. And then, like, Lower Third shows up and be like, I'm about to wreck this whole man's career. And then, like, holy crap. But yeah, I loved Upper Third. I loved Upper Third. Like, he was freaking amazing. Like, his strength monologue and all that, and not wanting to kill Rengoku because it would be a waste of his talents and everything. And I'm just like, oh my gosh. And then, even though we barely knew, because I haven't read the manga, so, like, we barely knew Rengoku's backstory. We only really, this movie was the only backstory for Rengoku that we really got. And I was so attached to him by the end of the movie. I'm like, I want him to win! I want him to win and beat Upper Third and, you know, come out victorious and then go home and tell his dad, hey, I killed an upper rank demon. And then it's like, nope. Demon Slayer movie's like, no. And I'm like, why? Anyway, this rant's gone on for kind of a long time. That was kind of the first big thing that I really liked, was that the last act of that movie came out of freaking nowhere. Like, I was not expecting there to be that. Because I checked my phone after they killed the Lower first Kizuki. I was like checking my phone. I'm like, it's only like been going for like an hour and a half, give or take. Like, I thought this movie said it was going to be like 2 hours. So I'm like, okay, there must be a lot of like stuff that kind of just like exposition maybe that happens at the end there. I'm sorry, I'm talking a lot, and I'm very, very warm because my car doesn't have AC, and I was very emotionally distraught on the way home. I'm sorry. But yeah, I thought, you know, I'm like, what is going on? And then, you know, this other thing shows up out of nowhere, and I'm just like, oh, there's more fighting. Oh shit, there's more fighting. Oh no. But so yeah, I really liked that final act of the movie came out of freaking nowhere, because it really hits you. It kicks your heart in the dick, and it's really great. So yeah. Okay, I am sorry. I was a little all over the place in that first bit. I got all the emotions out there, so now we can talk a little bit. We can be a little bit calmer now. I got all the emotions out in the first segment. We're okay now. Mostly. I'm still kind of not okay, but we'll get through it. Anyway, but yeah, definitely that was really the thing that I liked the most. Besides the third act coming out of nowhere, and then the fights. The fights in this show in this movie were amazing. But that's par for the course for Demon Slayer. The animation is always good. The fights are freaking fantastic. I love that. Obviously, I still love Inosuke. Like, Inosuke was still a highlight. Inosuke was great. The dream bits. The dream bits. I completely spaced on that. The dream bits that they were in were amazing. Because, Tanjiro's obviously was, he wants to be with his family again. But I loved Zenitsu's. It was so cute. He's just running around doing just daily things with Nezuko. And Nezuko's like, oh, help me, Zenitsu. And Zenitsu's like, I got you. I'm your man. And she's like, yes, you are. And it was so cute. I loved that. And I loved Inosuke's dream, where he's just like, the other three are his minions. And he's just like, this buff. Well, he's always buff, but he's just like, yes, you are my underlings. We're going to go fight this train demon cockroach thing. And it's going to be great. I thought that was so funny. And I really liked the emotional core bit with Tanjiro's soul, and like how the fairies, little fire, I don't know, they were called fairies in the dub, because I did go see the dub, but there were little fairy things, and they were helping this boy, because he's looking for this emotional core, because he wants to kill Tanjiro, and these little fairies are like, oh, we know you're looking for it, here it is, and he's like, what? You're helping me find this even though I'm gonna destroy it? They're like, and he's like, I can't! You're too pure! I can't kill you! You're too good! And I'm just like, yes, our boy, Tanjiro. Like, I love Inosuke, but our boy Tanjiro is too pure for this world. And I love it. So yeah, that was the other really big thing, was like the soul bit, the dream, all the stuff with the dreams, and the bits with the core souls. And also Rengoku just freaking choking out this person who, was trying to kill him. He was like, you know what? He's like, no, you're not gonna kill me, because I am a freaking Hashira and I'm a badass. Like, it's great. I love all the stuff that pertains to kind of the dream bits. And I really like that, the way they did, like, the initial dream bit, because, like, after they save the tickets, they go into this fight where they're fighting the two demons that aren't actually there, and I was just like, this feels kind of off. Like when they're kind of jumping around. Like, I didn't really think it was off, because I'm like, because, they'd seen the two demons that were kind of there had been shown in the trailer. So I'm like, oh, because I know there's like the lower first, and then there was like another demon in the trailer, and I'm like, oh, this is the other demon. So they're just gonna go and they're gonna go kick some butt, and then they're gonna go fight the Kizuki. And I thought everything was normal. Everything felt fine until they got to the bit where Rengoku beats the other one, and then everyone's kind of jumping around Rengoku, calling him bro, and I'm just like, this feels off. Something about this feels weird. And then 2 seconds later, it shows them asleep in the cars. I'm like, oh, that never happened. None of that ever happened. And it was so good, because they didn't even explain that it never happened. They were like, oh yeah, this was all a dream. This was all a mirage. And I'm just like, ooh, I like the spookies. I like where this is going. But yeah, so I really liked that bit. That bit was really good. And yeah, so I'm really bad at, like, I'm bad at segues. So I'm sorry if the segues are ever weird. I'm just really bad at ending things, just as a general rule. Alright, so now that I've gone over kind of the things I liked best, I'm going to kind of go over some of the more technical stuff, and we're going to start with voice acting. Voice acting is an A tier. There was only one thing that stood out to me that kind of just didn't fit, and that was Rengoku's English voice. Because to be honest, I didn't pick the English dub for Rengoku, to be honest. And it was only like one bit. Like, all the rest of his voice acting was good. There was just one bit at the beginning that kind of just felt weird, because the inflection he was using didn't really work very well in English. That's not the voice actor's fault. The voice actor is good. It's just the dialogue it's weird to do it in English because we just don't do it in English, so it sounded weird. So there's a scene where he's eating, and every time he bites into something, he says tasty. And I'm sure, in Japanese it probably didn't sound weird, but just the English, and I'm sure they were working with what they had, So I don't think it's bad or anything. It felt odd. It felt a little off, a little odd. But yeah, everyone else was absolutely perfect. I picked it honestly because I wanted Alex Lee and Zach Aguilar and Bryce Happenbrook as the big trio, Zenitsu, Tanjiro, and Inosuke. I wanted those three. I finally figured out Zenitsu's voice actor. It's Alex Lee. He's fantastic. But yeah, I picked it because I wanted to see those three in English. I didn't really care about the rest of it. I just really wanted those three in English, because those were the people I was watching it for. I wasn't watching it for Rengoku initially. And again, like I said, the later voice acting for Rengoku is absolutely wonderful. It's just that one scene it's very close to the beginning of the movie before things get really serious. But there's just a little bit at the beginning that's it's like a minute long, and it felt odd. Like when I was listening to it, I'm like, that sounds wrong in English. But again, that's the only bit. Like, overall voice acting for this movie, definitely A tier. I loved it. It was fantastic. It was so good. So, yeah. Next, we're going to go over soundtrack. The soundtrack for this movie is absolutely amazing. There are moments, and the thing that's great about it is that sometimes, and I'm going to kind of lump sound, well, actually I probably shouldn't. I'm going to do sound design a little bit later. But so the soundtrack, the music is absolutely amazing. It's so good. It always fits. It hit those emotional highs. It added so much to the film. If the music hadn't been this good, I think a lot of emotion would have been lost. The music is so amazing. I don't know who composed it. I should find that out. Either way, the person who composed this did an amazing job. They don't really have like a theme song. They have a theme song, but it plays at the end of the movie. It's called Homura. I think it's sung by Lisa, who did the OP for season 1. But yeah, the song at the end of the movie is also very good. Like it a lot. But yeah, overall soundtrack definitely S tier. The movie would not have been the same without it. If the soundtrack had been any less good, the movie would not have been the same. So definitely S tier for the soundtrack. So since we just talked about music, we're now going to talk about sound design. The sound effects in this movie were also very good. There's not really much to say beyond that. Like, the sound effects are good. They fit really good. They add so much depth to it. When something hits the ground or when something slices through something else, you feel it. The impact, especially, well, I was in a movie theater, so there is that. But I felt the impact, from the sound design and the way it was done. It was very, very, very good. There's not a lot to say. It was very good. It definitely, it helped, you feel the sound and what was going on in the movie a lot better than, not better. It made you feel the sounds, which is always what you want from sound design, especially sound design where there's a lot of fights involved. And again, I've said this in past videos, I am not a professional, I just know what sounds good. But like when things were, getting hit around, when things were getting smacked, when things were hitting the ground, and there was a lot of weight, you felt that weight, and you heard it, and you felt it in your chest from the sound. It was very, very good. Definite S tier for sound design. Last thing we're going to talk about is animation. Now, the animation was really, really good. It wasn't that, I think it was about the same level of quality as the first season. There wasn't like any additional animation. It wasn't extra pretty because it was a movie. And the thing is, because it's a continuation of the show, that kind of makes sense, because they didn't need as much budget for it, probably because they just used a lot of the same animation they used from the, and I could be wrong here, but that's just kind of my impression, was that they used basically the same animation from the show, which is fine. It was, the animation was still really good, The only thing that really threw me off is because sometimes there's like 3D animation, because there's, because those of you who've seen know, like, the train is a demon. Like, the train has become a demon, and so there's, like, this weird flesh things that kind of move around, and those, because of the fact that they're so, gooey and sticky and weird looking, they kind of stick out, because everything else is 2D, and those are really 3D, and it's not bad, necessarily, it's just really off. It's a little off. It's not bad, but it's a little off-putting, just because it sticks out a lot on the screen, because of the fact that it's, it's like these pink blob 3D things on a 2D background. So it just kind of sticks out a little, and it's not great, but other than that, like, the animation is, if that wasn't in there, I'd give this a higher rank, but with the pink blob things, the animation is going to be an A tier. Still really good, but the pink blob things, yeah, were just a little too off-putting for me to give this an S with a good conscience. So my overall ranking for Demon Slayer Mugen Train is going to be A tier. Again, I do think it just doesn't quite have the S tier edge that some S tier shows have, but again, definitely an amazing movie. If you haven't seen it yet, I highly recommend you go watch it. Definitely worth your time. I did see the dub, that's because that's the language I prefer. I like English sub, English. I prefer the, I'm really tired if you can't tell, but yeah, I really like the English dub. I highly recommend it. You know, like I said, the only bit that's a little off is right at the beginning. Other than that, the dub is really good. If you prefer Japanese, you know, I'm sure there's Japanese subs too. I haven't watched that language, but it's probably still pretty good. You know, again, the only difference would be the language. Like I said, all the other stuff, the animation, sound design, all of that would still carry over. So, again, if you prefer Japanese, go see Japanese. If you like English, go see in English. That's what I recommend. But yeah, it's a really good movie. Definitely worth the watch if you like Demon Slayer. And even if you're not a huge fan of Demon Slayer, it's still a really good watch and definitely worth your time. So, go watch it. But anyway, that is going to be the end of the video for today. I will be linking my Patreon down below. Like, comment, really please comment. It pleases the algorithm. Yeah, and subscribe. I will definitely be continuing to make stuff on this channel. I'm probably going to start working on some other videos here pretty soon. A couple more unboxings coming down the pipeline. But yeah, you guys have a good rest of your day. I still don't have a proper outro. Bye!